The salad bowl was heavier than it looked, ceramic, the kind resorts use because it photographs well. I remember that detail clearly because I was thinking about the weight of it in my hands when Diane said the words that changed the tone of the entire weekend. The help doesn't eat with family. She said it lightly, almost kindly, the way you'd correct someone's silverware placement. She wasn't looking at me when she said it. She was looking past me, already reaching for her wine glass, as if the matter were settled before it had even started. I want to explain how I got there because the moment only makes sense with context. Tom and I had been married for a little over a year. His family did an annual reunion at whatever property his mother had chosen that season, always somewhere polished, always somewhere with a view. This year, it was resort on the coast, 40 rooms, private beach access, the kind of place that runs quietly in the background so guests never see the effort behind it. I hadn't told his family much about my career, partly because I liked not leading with it, partly, if I'm honest, because I'd grown curious about how people would treat me before they knew. I'd started in hospitality at 19, waiting tables at a mid-range hotel restaurant, learning the industry from the ground up because nobody handed me anything. 15 years later, I owned a small but growing collection of properties, three of them coastal resorts, run under a name that wasn't mine, deliberately, because I wanted the brand to stand on its own. This particular resort happened to be one of mine. Tom didn't fully register that detail when his mother booked it. To him, it was just a nice place with a good rate his mother had found. To me, it was where I'd spent the last 1 month overseeing a renovation of the East Wing. At dinner that first night, I noticed the salad hadn't arrived yet. And out of habit more than anything, I walked to the service station near the kitchen entrance and carried it out myself. Old instinct. 15 years of not liking to sit still while something needs doing. That's when Diane said it. The table went quiet in that particular way tables do when everyone senses something has landed wrong, but isn't sure how wrong yet. Tom's fork paused halfway to his mouth. His aunt suddenly found her napkin very interesting. I set the bowl down gently because throwing it would have been satisfying and completely beside the point. I looked at Diane and I said it plainly without heat. I own this resort. I didn't say it to win anything. I said it because it was true and because the moment required a correction more than it required a reaction. Diane's expression didn't collapse dramatically. It did something quieter, something I found more interesting to watch. Her certainty flickered, not about me specifically, but about the entire framework she'd been using to sort people her whole life. Who gets addressed? Who gets ignored? Who carries the salad and who gets served it? I'm sorry, she said too quickly, the words arriving before she'd had time to actually feel them. I didn't realize. I know, I said. That's sort of the point. I didn't explain further at the table. I let the silence do the rest of the work, because over-explaining would have turned an honest moment into a performance, and I didn't want to give her an audience to perform an apology for either. Dinner continued, quieter than before, everyone recalibrating in their own way. Tom found me on the terrace later that night, staring out at water I'd spent months helping restore access to for guests who'd never know the permitting nightmare behind that project. He didn't apologize on his mother's behalf. He just sat down next to me and said, "I didn't know you owned this place." "I know," I said. "I like that you didn't." He asked why, and I told him the truth. Because I wanted to know what it felt like to be loved for who I was before anyone factored in what I'd built. Most of my life, people had done the math the other way around. Status first, curiosity about the person second, if at all. His mother wasn't unusual in that. She was just unusually direct about it. Diane came out about 20 minutes later holding 2 glasses of water like a peace offering that hadn't quite committed to being wine. She sat across from me, not next to me, which felt honest in its own way. She didn't perform contrition. She just said that she'd spent her whole life sorting people quickly without meaning to, and that she hadn't realized how much that habit cost her until she